Thank you, Yash. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to have Dr. Shalini Rajneesh, IAS Additional Chief Secretary, Development Commissioner, Government of Karnataka, in our midst today. May I kindly request Dr. Shalini Rajneesh to share a few words with us, please.
Ellarige namaskara. Namaskara from Karnataka to all the people who have specially come from outside the state. Let me at the outset congratulate Air Cargo Forum of India for organizing this event. Looking at the huge potential of growth that the southern states hold for the world as a whole, I would also be very happy to say that it is being done in collaboration with our Bangalore International Airport, of which we are all so proud. It is the third busiest airport and has huge connectivities, both domestic and international, and that's what explains the potential that lies. I will not delve into the technical details which have already been spoken by Dhruv and Mr. Sharma. I would only speak from the administrator's point of view. I was very happy to see that my report on trillion GDP for Karnataka, the action plan, was quoted in the presentation because it lays out the roadmap for specific action points to ensure that every sector growth potential is realized. Today, I'm very happy to see that we have representatives, the member stakeholders from entire supply chain industry, that is airport operators, cargo terminal operators, freight forwarders, custom brokers, airlines, express industry, bonded truck operators, and other associations. Now what I feel is that particularly for the perishable products of southern states, we have to increase our impact. Presently, the Bangalore facility with 7 lakh metric tons is being utilized only to 50 to 60% potential. So we have huge potential right now available and can be expanded later as well. So what is it that we can add on to immediately, the low hanging? I would be very happy to tell you that in Karnataka alone, our horticulture production is worth 60,000 crores a year. And in horticulture, the perishable products, which are again very, very unique and very high demand, high value products like the bananas, the mango, and other grapes, pomegranates, very good quality, figs, etc., are being grown in a large quantity. Similarly, Bangalore is known as the cut flowers capital of India. So huge amount of cut flowers are being made available through our flower market. Now, how do you ensure that all this product actually gets exported? One, I feel, is lack of awareness among our producers. Two, lack of associations or their group cluster formations wherein they act as a solid group to take care of the major regulatory issues. So the certifications required for export, the contacts with the exporters, the kind of grading and packaging and marketing and other criteria which are expected of, particularly if we are looking at US market and European market, the standards are very strict. So are we training them to ensure that they adhere to those standards? And finally, whether we are connecting the producers from the hinterland to the airport. Now, logistics therefore plays a very important role. Perishables, where time is money, cannot afford to delay even a few minutes because otherwise it will lose its value. And air cargo is the only possible solution. So how our air cargo promoters work with the producers and other logistic organizations within the state is today's challenge. And I'll be very happy to connect with you, the important stakeholders, the producers and the other partners in this, so that we have a seamless and a very, very quick movement of these products from within the different parts of the state to this. I'm also very happy to say that there are 16 airports within the state of Karnataka. We have 31 districts. So on an average, every 2 districts have 1 airport. But unfortunately, there's hardly 1 or 2 flights in every airport. So look at the huge infrastructure investment that has gone into these airports but are underutilized. So can we look at adding the cargo part, if not the flights, if not the passengers, into these airports, and the air cargo extends to the hinterland seamlessly again. So something from Bijapur and something from Mysore and other places, can they quickly come into the Bengaluru center and then they move on to the export market? That is a second possibility. Third, what we had explored when I was in Ministry of Civil Aviation, the tourism part. So we found that lot of charter flights were coming in to Goa, for example, and they were almost going empty, right? So we try to work out on what kind of cargo potential that is available, and we could work with the charter people and then see that the flights take away a lot of cargo, or even within the state they move around. So there is, without adding much costs. So these are all, I'm talking of synergies which can reduce our costs, because ultimately, unless we are competitive in terms of costs, we cannot sell well. I'm very happy to say that very recently an initiative has been taken by the Karnataka State Road Transport, wherein all the buses are now using their cargo space, and they fix very, very small price. So this is something to connect the farmer to the market. Things like, even 1 box of grapes or other products, other perishable products, they can immediately reach, or flowers for that matter. And there are about 15,000 buses. So one KSRTC, if they are linked with your air cargo center, you can connect to every village. There are 15,000 buses running around every day, connecting every village of the state, and that's where you can. So already you have done the connect with the truck people. So similar way, can we do it for the other decentralized and disaggregated market, which we need to strengthen, which makes it a big, huge ocean to explore. And I am also very happy to say that there are lot of artisans, especially geographical tag, GI tag rated, certain very specific products. You talk of Mysore silk saris, okay, you talk of cotton saris, you talk of ilkal, that's in textile sector, or you talk of the very unique artisans products, whether it is Chanpatna toys or it is Bidri handcraft or a number of rosewood inlay work and so on and so forth. Now somehow we're not pushing it into and these are all very high value products. Artisans are still, struggling with the local market, and they're not even aspiring to look at the export market in a big way. It is already happening. It was such a proud moment when one of the sculptors of Karnataka, his artwork was put in Ayodhya temple, and so that's the kind of finesse that our artisans have. And we have an institutional mechanism like the Kaveri Emporium, right, for the artisans. All the artwork, all the creative things can be connected to just one organization, and we can again plug it in for this product. We are also number 2 in fisheries products, marine products, meat, dairy. Again, all of them are perishables and they require air cargo. So all put together, I feel that the GDP of Karnataka with agriculture and industry which is presently 15% and 21% respectively, we are looking at doubling that. And that's how we propose to reach the trillion GDP target for the state. And that's directly or indirectly going to have an impact on the export, the air cargo, and the other business activities. So the need of the hour is that we work together. And as an administrator, I will be very happy to receive the proposals, suggestions from various stakeholders, as if what do we need to do to ensure that the hassles, the stringent policy issues which are coming in the way of quick export and quick logistics can be simplified and can be, maybe some of them can be done away with, to ensure that we realize our potential. So let small little policy and governance issues not come in the way of our growth. And the perspective that has been shown is very, very bright. And I'm sure when we work together, we can certainly reach it. I would again request each one of you to please give your suggestions, your valuable inputs on seeing how the administrative machinery can galvanize your efforts. Thank you very much, and I wish you a grand success.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nice suggestions.
Thank you, Shalini Rajneesh, ma'am. In few minutes, I think, the impact that you have given on this stage was immense, and we really admire that. Madam spoke about perishable cargo, the low-hanging fruits, horticulture, flowers, infrastructure. She spoke about so much scope in our business that it's really, I think we have not taken the entire potential of the cargo trade and reached the heights that Shalini Madam spoke about. And I think the best part was her welcoming us all to discuss about what are the discrepancies or what are the shortfalls of the industry. And she's welcoming us to discuss the administrative problems that we are facing to address them. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I would now like to extend a warm invitation to Madam Kajal Singh, Principal Commissioner Customs, ACFI and Airport, Bengaluru, to share a few words with us. Throughout her tenure, we have witnessed her unwavering support and dedication to our trade. Her leadership has been instrumental in fostering growth and collaboration. Ma'am, may I request you on the dais, please?
Good morning, namaste. Respected Shalini ma'am, Mr. Bhaskar Rao, Dhruv, Mr. Yashpal Sharma and other dignitaries on the stage, and all members from the southern states of ACFI sector and other stakeholders who have joined today for this interesting workshop and interaction. Everybody from the airport community, a warm welcome. And I'm happy, it's my privilege to be here, to be speaking with you. I am working in customs. I'm the principal commissioner here, and I've been here for 2 years, and I find Bangalore to be one of the most professional, everybody, whether it be the CHAs or the custodians and others, all the associations, very professionally the way we have been working in collaboration. And this year's theme of, I'll just touch a few things, because customs has both a role of a facilitation as well as ensuring compliance, so that our national security and economic security, that is, in no way compromised, and we prevent any kind of prohibited or restricted goods coming in. So this year's theme of the World Customs Organization is very appropriate, I think. It says, customs engaging with traditional and new partners with a purpose. So just to give a background, India is a part of the World Customs Organization, a member, and every year the World Customs Organization comes out with a theme. So this year's is basically not only the PGAs but also any stakeholder in the entire chain of customs operations. Initially, when the WCO was set up, it was only around 1952, there were 17 members. Over a period, about 183, which comprise of trade of roughly 98% of the world trade. So customs does not work in silo. So Indian customs also cannot work in a silo, because there need to be processes which are standard across the world, because one country's import is another's export, and there is a connection. Like there's a tagline which says borders divide, customs connects. So over the period, and especially after the WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement India became a signatory to that. Many changes that happened in 2013, and many changes have in the last 10 years you would have seen and experienced in customs. Customs did have a transaction system which was automated a long time back in the 90s, and then over a period, most of your documentation, the clearance, and it is all through an automated system. In fact, around 90% of the cargo which comes is cleared through the RMS. It's facilitated. I mean, there's only no examination, no assessment by the customs. Based on your self-assessment, the documents you file, it is given out of charge by the officer. So they are not opened, they are not examined. However, there are a number of what we call the CCR requirements or the compliance requirements of other agencies. There are more than 36 other agencies whose laws at the border are implemented by customs. So just a few things which are very important, because often we are at the receiving end, that customs has delayed, customs has delayed. What happens is, if your documentation is complete, like the bill of entry, that's the import document, or the shipping bill for export, you can file it in advance, even before the goods are there at the port. So we have been, customs has been encouraging importers, exporters to file it in advance. So the documentation is taken care of early. So when you're doing this, what is very important is the classification. Classification is around the world, it is standard. Up to 6 digits, every item, we have 98 chapters. So up to 6 digits, all countries, they're following the same. WCO works on it every now and then, depending on the development, new kind of products coming. It is the HSN, what we call the harmonized system, that is upgraded and all. The last 2 digits, those are very country specific. I mean, some countries have up to 10 digit also. India has up to 2. So that's the first and foremost, your classification should fall in the correct thing. Secondly is that if any notification, exemption, benefit, or any free, FTA or preferential treatment agreements, which India is there, your product falls in that should be the documentation of that properly. The third thing is, there is a lot of, because like Bangalore has, and even the other states in the south, lot of electronic, lot of automotive parts, and which are engineering products. So the complete catalog of that product should be uploaded. Many times we find the companies are uploading entire catalog and not really highlighting that for this item. So if it is focused and specific to that, it is very easy. If any NOCs are there from any other partner government agencies, that is also, all the NOCs and the registrations, for example, with whether it be any authorization from DGFT or it is any, WPC, BIS, There are many, and now, as you know, there is what is called CHIM certificate, PIM certificate. So there are so many agencies whose regulatory compliances are to be followed. And if every importer, exporter does the background work, the compliance team works on it, completes the documentation, the clearance is very fast. In customs, we are regularly introspecting, and every year, as many of the people know, we do a time release study. It is done in, for all the goods which come in for 1 week. You know, all the bill of entries or the export bills which are filed in from 1st to 7th January. We do a complete analysis of it, that how much time it took, what are the bottlenecks. Basically, it is to see if there are any process improvements we can do in customs. And the report is, we watch these products up to the next month and see that what were the, maybe it could be a system glitch, it could be some other issues, it could be some provision in the regulations which is redundant, which we need to maybe change. So this is with the entire airport community, we have been doing it every year. And we see the progress over the years, that how much time it takes for us to clear, because it is very important. Ultimately, what is expected from customs and the other regulatory agencies at the border is that the goods should be cleared fast. Otherwise, the industry suffers and it adds to the cost. So time is money. So we are watching that. So currently the time release study is going on. Till 10th of Feb, we'll be seeing those bills, and then another 4-5 months the report comes, and then that is published. And what are the, it's very, very transparent process, because most of the data stamp we have, except a few, which is to be got from the other agencies. And for the first time, for courier also, it is being done at only Bangalore, because the courier terminal, courier operations are number 2 in the country after Delhi. It is in Bangalore. In fact, Bombay also is much smaller, and I think they have the best of infrastructure, and scope for expansion is tremendous. We also have regular meetings with the stakeholder, like every month the Permanent Trade Facilitation Committee meeting. And I'm happy to say we never get any agenda points from the trade. So I don't know whether they're not coming up or we are doing our work and everybody's working well to clear the goods in time. And there are many forums where the grievances, any issues, and most of you who are here, I've met you, I've been here for 2 years, so my officers and I are accessible, because it's very important for us to ensure that the goods get cleared in time. The other part is the compliance side. It is also a challenge, so we look for more of using the risk management. The risk management system was put up in customs. We have been using since 2013 for exports, and since 2006 for the import side. And it has over a period got very calibrated and fine-tuned, and more focused kind of interdictions we are doing. There is also the AEO scheme, and which you should, for the logistics providers, for everybody in the supply chain and for the manufacturer, and these are basically like a green channel. There's the deferred duty payment for those who are part of the AEO scheme. So there are a number of facilitation measures which are there. On the other side, I would also maybe use this forum to put in my request that we are very, very concerned about the compliance. So in that, we would require everybody's support. Often we find that smuggling of prohibited or restricted items, many times we get cases where it is a number of cases nearly across the country on gold smuggling in concealed in the airlines itself, the aircrafts itself, and connivance of various things. So on that, it's a request that a more better kind of a compliance from everybody involved in it, because gold by itself is not only just for, as you know, it's not just, for a consumption purpose, but it's also used for a lot of other activities which are very harmful to the national security, like for terrorist financing or money laundering, and criminal activities are an outcome. So it's a very, very major area of concern, and if some processes are built in, especially by airlines and the ground staff and the others who are handling, it will be a big help to customs. Because, as I said, that ultimately it is in collaboration with all the other airport community people that we are working. And apart from that, as again I would like to stress, any issues in the regulatory framework or in others, there are forums in which we interact regularly with you. Those can be brought to our notice, and if it's a policy change, we will take it up with the ministry, and if it is at a local level, that can be sorted out. So thank you very much, and namaskar.
We are actually very privileged to have Madam in Bangalore, because we have always seen her being very, very helpful to us, and we always see her very welcoming to address to all our queries and issues that we face pertaining to all the regulatory issues. Thank you very much, Madam. May I now invite Mr. Bhaskar Anand Rao, the Chief Financial Officer of Bangalore International Airport Limited, to share valuable insights with us today. With an extensive background in finance and key leadership role at BIAL, Mr. Rao brings a wealth of experience and expertise to the table. Mr. Rao, please.
Panicker from GMR, Mr. Sharma and other dignitaries on the stage. I think we have heard enough from the two most dynamic officers from the administration, one from Government of Karnataka, another from Customs Department, and I think I have found, especially with the dealing that I have done with both of them, me, my colleagues, etc., that they have always been solution-oriented. And I think this is what we require for the Indian GDP as well as airports, cargo to progress and reach our targets. I wouldn't want to take too much of your time, because I know that there's a lot of interesting ones that are going to come further. I'll just thank all of you for taking time from your busy schedules to attend the Cargo Summit organized by ACFI, and the valuable support for the growth of this sector that all of you are doing, which justifiably is one of the lead indicator for the GDP of the country. It is basically every time you see growth in cargo or slowdown in cargo, which shows that how the economy of the country is also moving. So here in Bangalore, we take the cargo as a very strategic and important constituents of the Bangalore airport, and hence we have also the two cargo operators, the world leaders in cargo operation, Menzies and WFS, are in JV with Bangalore Airport, so that Bangalore Airport can actually give strategic support and also assist in development of cargo growth. Our aspirations and targets, ma'am, are to triple the cargo volume that goes from Bangalore in the next 1 decade. And I think that's quite in line with whatever our national growth would be. And of special interest, which Shalini ma'am mentioned, is perishable, both flowers, vegetables. Bangalore had earned a moniker called curry capital of the country because of the coriander leaves that were going from Bangalore, and that would definitely of great sort of focus. And we will work with both Government of India, Government of Karnataka, and with all of you, taking your suggestions to grow this sector and to make cargo a very important constituents in Bangalore Airport. Thank you very much, and I wish great success for the summit. And we all take back valuable, lessons, valuable insights, and we will work to make this cargo a great business for both South India as well as to India. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rao. I think that was a very inspiring speech with the target being already set and ready to achieve. So thank you very much for setting the targets. I would now like to invite Mr. Pradeep Panicker. Sir, your leadership and vast experience are an inspiration to all of us. We believe that your words of wisdom will greatly enrich the crowd. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Shalini Rajneesh ma'am, Kajal Singh ma'am, Bhaskar, Anand Rao, Yashpal, Sanjeev, Dhruv, other members, other dignitaries of the dais. It's a pleasure to be back at this forum actually. The reason I say that is, like Yashpal mentioned, I was the founder president of ACFI we started this in 2011. And I think we celebrated 10 years last year. In 2012 is when we registered and we got together. And the very purpose with which we set up ACFI at that juncture was to, there was no body which represented each and every part of the chain of logistics. So there was a forum for freight forwarders, there was a forum for CHAs, there was a forum for shippers, there was a forum for express, and again, further bifurcated into some for domestic cargo, some for international cargo. But we never had one voice. When we would go to the government would look at us and, there would be in a room, there would be 5 or 6 different stakeholders talking different language. There was no one single voice which represented the requirement for the entire industry as one. So that is how we conceived this idea, and this came over actually, me and Sanjeev had gone to Amsterdam to study the systems there from Delhi airport. Both of us were working in Delhi airport. He still works, now he works in GMR and I work in Hyderabad. But what happened is then we went and saw a facility in Amsterdam called ACN, Air Cargo Netherlands. And it's something very similar to what we are seeing in Air Cargo Forum India today. They had all the stakeholders there, and they had rooms where they said, if the industry had a challenge, they would put all the people in one room and say, you find a solution. So that's how they started this, and then we realized we could do the same in India. So this idea was conceived, and then Yashpal was one of them, Sanjeev, then we had Malcolm Ontario, Tushar Jani, Cyrus Katgara, all stalwarts of the industry who came together, and we put together this idea. And Mr. Kanwar is not here today, who was actually at that time heading the air cargo in Delhi. He went on to become the Secretary General, Director General. So he's still around, but I think he's not come today for the event. So that's how the entire conceptualization of ACFI happened. And when we got together, we realized that the ministry started listening to us, because we were not having any vested interest. We were really looking at the overall interest of the growth of the sector. So that is how the entire ACFI got together and happened. So I just thought some history I should like to put forth for you. The second element which both the madams here had talked about, and I actually took one leaf out of what they said, and I was just telling Yashpal, sitting beside him, so I had an advantage of popping in a few words. One is that she talked about the fact that there is a possibility of further enhancing the growth of exports and perishable out of this region. And primarily, one big problem which happens is that any product which is going into any of the international market, the quality of the product has to be maintained, the sanctity of the temperature, the good feel. Because finally, if it reaches a shop, and if all of us, any of us go to a shop, the product is not appealing enough, we will not buy it. If it doesn't have all the necessary, the qualities which we look for in it, we will not buy it. And when they are coming into air cargo, the need is for them to preserve the product till it reaches the shelf or the table. It's basically from farm to fork, what we talk about. And there is a need for us to ensure that the entire journey of the product actually doesn't lead to the deterioration of the product. So that particular aspect is something which I was just telling Yashpal, maybe there is a need for ACFI to go to the next level where they start talking to the producers and the the farmers and all that, and also possibly the associations of farmers, to maybe enable that gap. If you are able to bridge that gap, possibly more products will start getting exported, something which I think he has just taken note of. That is something we will definitely look at. The other element which Kajal ma'am was mentioning about is the fact that when imports are coming in, a lot of the products actually, the documentation results in delay, either in import or export. Now these are again something which can easily be fixed by training. Ma'am, I think we will perhaps work with you to see how we can enhance the training of the people, because these are all members of our own fraternity. And if we are able to bring that amount of change, automatically I think it will become easier for all of us. And definitely the trade will definitely improve. Just the other point which I thought I just mentioned. Now, the importance of both these aspects, what it covers is that when we look at the air cargo fraternity, or the air cargo fraternity has a very key role to play, has been already illustrated by Dhruv and others, how the entire volume of cargo is likely to significantly rise from about 3 million tons today. It is to 7 million in a matter of 5-6 years' time. So each of us has to be geared more for that entire thing to happen. And it will only happen if we are geared enough. Because if we are not up to the game, however much the better the quality the produce is produced by the farmer or the manufacturer, if the product doesn't reach the destination in time as stated, or maintaining the quality, it is not going to be acceptable to the customer, and there are many alternatives. So we are actually competing with systems, not with countries. So for example, this is something which I keep saying in various forums. Basically, when a Chinese system is competing an Indian system, or a Vietnamese system is competing an Indian system, from the manufacturer to the freight forwarder to the airline to the airport to the the entire logistics, the trucker, everything. So if there is a gap, if there is a fault in the chain, our quality, our system is actually defeating the entire purpose of our industry. So it's very important that we actually align. And ACFI is one such element which is trying to ensure that we handhold each part of the industry to ensure that we're able to come to that unanimity in where we're able to elevate the entire industry. So that's something which we need to continue to do. We have been doing that already. And there is significant scope. I mean, we have reached a particular level, and I'm very sure with more concerted efforts, we will take it further. So that's something which we need to look at. The other element is that we need to perhaps focus on industries which we are good at. And there are, which ma'am has just mentioned, perishable, there's also possibility of pharma, there is a possibility of various other elements, automobiles, and there's so many components in which the air cargo industry has a significant role to play. The other one key element which perhaps I need to mention is that the airlines also play a very key role, and the total number of aircrafts in India today, the large orders which came through from all the other Air India and Indigo and others, is around 700 aircrafts in India. Now we are talking in terms of reaching 2,000 aircraft maybe in another 10 years' time. That's the number we are looking at. It's more than 3 times. Automatically, that means the volume of cargo also can significantly increase, because most of the cargo goes in belly. Now today, if you see the domestic belly space which is occupied is hardly about 40 to 50%. So naturally there is a potential, but certain constraints come in. If you see, the domestic belly also goes almost full in the early morning turnaround, early morning flights, base flights. But as it goes further into the midday flights, they're all flying empty. So that is the other possibility, that by improving the efficiency and without affecting the turnaround time, if we are able to do something, automatically more and more cargo can be taken in. So these are some things which I just thought, being a person who was associated with the industry for quite some time, I could perhaps leave this forum with some thoughts so that they can actually take it forward. The other element, I would not have done my part of the job. I have actually come from Hyderabad, the Hyderabad airport. I'm the CEO of the Hyderabad airport. So we are also playing a key role in our own method in how we can actually improve the overall capacity of cargo handling. As we speak, we only have one cargo terminal. Our total capacity is 150,000 tons. We are embarking on a significant expansion where the existing cargo terminal is going to be enhanced to 350,000 tons. And we are also creating a new terminal which will be able to handle 1 lakh tons. So overall, we are gearing up for that growth. The vision which has been set on the stage today by many of the distinguished speakers. And we are working very closely with the various industries. We're also developing a significant amount of infrastructure for transshipment. Primarily, of course, the focus is on passenger transfers. As we speak, our transfer numbers have gone up from single digits, about 5-6% 10 years back, to today almost 22%. But our transshipment cargo is a long way off, and that's one challenge which our team is gearing with. I mean, Delhi, which is a large airport, has about 10% transshipment. But if you look at the Middle Eastern airports, they're talking of 60-70% transshipment. So that is a huge potential. Now, you may wonder why transshipment is important. So transshipment, what it does is that when an airline decides to fly an aircraft from one destination to the other destination, it is not possible to fill up the entire aircraft from one station. So if you are able to bring in cargo from various parts, the aircraft starts getting filled up. And when the aircraft starts getting filled up, it is able to make that, it's an economically viable journey for it. So it's important that a transshipment part also plays a key role. And therefore, it's important that we all work towards making our own outputs into transshipment hubs. And with this, I would like to, my time is also running out. I can see the ticker clicking here. So I wouldn't like to stand in between and this thing, but it's a great feeling to come back to ACFI. I've demitted office as a Singh almost, I think in 2016. I think after that, though I've been off and on with this thing, but it's a great feeling to come back. Thank you. Thank you once again for being a very ardent audience.
Thank you, Mr. Panicker. Thank you for pioneering the idea of ACFI for us and the assurance that ACFI will keep facilitating the trade and fostering growth. Thank you very much. May I please invite Mr. Sanjeev Edward, Chief Executive Officer, Cargo and Logistics for GMR Group, and he will now give a vote of thanks.
Thank you and good morning, everyone. It's very easy to deliver a vote of thanks when you've got a distinguished panel of speakers who delivered such excellent thoughts. So it's easy and it comes from the heart to actually thank. But firstly, I'd like to thank Dr. Shalini Rajesh. Thank you, ma'am, for actually joining us this morning. And I really compliment you on the 1 trillion plan. And, it was really commendable, what you've done. And we wish you all the success, actually, for the plan, because in the success of the plan is the success of the industry, because we have the opportunity to contribute and grow along with that. And also thank you for some excellent ideas that you brought to us on the synergies that we can do. The KSRTC is a great example, and I think we need that kind of connectivity for our country if we really want to penetrate into the deeper Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and even the villages. And thank you for the call to work together. I think it's exactly with our team of Connecting Horizons. So thank you. Also, Mrs. Kajal Singh, thank you, ma'am, for actually giving us a very excellent and very comprehensive oversight of customs working. And I think it's been very informative and knowledgeable for each one of us this morning. And also, like that phrase about, borders divide but customs unite. And I think there is also, we will also request for your guidance on a greater need. Probably we also need to see how our different commissionerates across the country can also, work more cohesively so that, we have a seamless flow across the country. Because when we're talking of growing transshipment, I think there is a lot of requirement for things to move seamlessly across the country, state borders, across different commissionerates. How do we have more consistency around that? And I think on the no agenda points, nothing to worry. No news is good news. If people are not sending the agenda points, I'm sure, the trade is very happy with what's going on. And thank you for Bhaskar also for being an excellent host, actually. And also to Bail for actually being very exemplary work in the industry, leading the change and being part of this change. Dhruv also for actually delivering a very enlightening presentation, informed and even excited with what's available and what's going to happen. And for India as a whole and Southern India in particular, and especially on the transshipment, in fact, We've been working very closely with the Ministry of Civil Aviation on developing that. I was just sharing that, we have at the Delhi airport developed some specific infrastructure just for transshipment, and I think that's the reason for driving that 10% volumes, whereas the country is doing less than 5%. But that's some learning which we can have across our airports, and all airports can actually be in the same league. Thank you also, Yash, for a very excellent context setting. And Pradeep, my colleague and also one of the founding members of ACFI, thank you for the very quick rewind, a flashback into history of, where we grew from 2012 to where we are now. As we reflect as ACFI, over the last decade or so that has gone by, there is a sense of satisfaction because we see many changes that we've seen on the ground, be it, working along with our Indian Customs on the 24/7 initiative, on the paperless, even, in fact, working with our Ministry of Civil Aviation for co-creating the vision of a 10 million metric tons by 2030. So that's lots happening. I mean, ACFI has come a long way. But ACFI is also, transitioning from a business facilitator to a business developer. Actually, now as ACFI, we are working. How do we help the industry grow and really maximize the potential that is available? I keep telling everybody, our industry as logistics and cargo has been somebody. We've heard the Cinderella story in our school days. It was the most beautiful one, but always kept in the back, never brought to the front. But COVID was that moment where, cargo and logistics came to the front and people started recognizing that this is the most promising one. And that's been the moment. This is where ACFI is at the moment. And as we now embark on this very important phase of our, where India is, we're looking at a 7 trillion economy by 2030. And on the backdrop of sectoral developments, on the backdrop of, the plans that we have, the policies that we have. Yesterday was very momentous as well. Our Honorable Prime Minister gave the vision and it was delivered by our Finance Minister saying that India is on the path to a Viksit Bharat by 2047. And of course, Dhruv, one of your managing partners, Rahul, very rightly said, this will be India's decade. The stars are well aligned. And we will benefit from the global shift towards diversified manufacturing and supply chains. The graphs that Dhruv showed very clearly showed that the trade lanes with India and some of the major economies are going to grow. So the people in this room, South India in particular, there is lots going to be coming our way. So thank you actually for making us aware of that. And once again, I would like to thank all of you for the thoughts and the vision to take ACFI along with these goals of Viksit Bharat and ensuring that in logistics and cargo, in air cargo in particular, that we are playing that catalyst role. Also, to my very distinguished audience, my colleagues from the industry, thank you for all your energy and optimism for being here. I'm sure this is going to be a great day as we interact with some of the best industry leaders, from very eminent speakers. But once again, in conclusion, thank you for all my distinguished guests and panel speakers on the dais, and also my friends in the audience below. Thank you for being here this morning. Thanks a lot. Thank you.